Hello, my name's John. These are some Golden Demon winners from 20 to 25 years ago, and you're watching Wargames, models, and other hobbies. Hello and welcome back to another video. Something slightly different this week. I was sorting out a few boxes and I found these old White Dwarf Presents Golden Demon winners. I have the copies from 2002 all the way through till 2006, and as I haven't done any painting in a while and I need a little bit of inspiration, I thought it'd be quite good to have a look through these, find some of my favourite models in there, and then give you a chance to have a look at them if you've never seen them before. So we're going to start with 2002. So these were released with White Dwarf for about 5 years. I don't know if there was earlier ones, there might have been, but they did kind of tail off towards the end when more of the online content was happening. But let's have a little look. And I'm going to say from the outset, if anybody watching these are one of the painters in this, congratulations for your win 20 to 25 years ago. For everyone else, let's appreciate the things that they've done. So let's have a look at this first one. This is an armoured Inquisitor. Really nice model, that one. Let's carry on through. We have a Demon Huntress. And then we have a Tau Watercast Ambassador. Really like that one. I like the kind of the crimson-y colours on that one. Here we have the next category, Warhammer 40,000 squad. There is the Emperor's Storm Space Marine Command Squad. Some nice models there. Nice little conversions as well, making use of a few different ranges. And let's carry on down. There we have a Tau Stickleback Gunship. Nice little conversion there. And here we have a Steel Legion Wolverine. Quite like that. That's looks like the body of a Lehman Russ battle tank, but reversed. Normally that would be the rear engine plate. But it looks like they flipped it round, put a few wheels on it. That's quite a nice conversion, especially fitting with the new Astra Militarum tanks that have coming out. They have come out, I think, yeah. They've been on pre-order. I film these videos slightly out of order. I'm about a week or so ahead at the moment. I've just watched the unboxing of the new Warhammer 40,000, which is quite exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, and then tying in with that, we have a War Track. So that's got a few Gork. That's definitely a Gork and Walker model there. There's the guy who is in the copter. Dreg Mech Blitzkart, I think. Then we've got an old Orc Boy big shooter, and then a grot from one of the artillery pieces. And then here we have an Orc War Boss. And then a Zinch Demon Priest, so based on, I think it was, oh no, sorry. They're not showing the Zinch Demon Priest. That is the Catan Deceiver. I thought it was a conversion there. It's not, it is just the Catan Deceiver. It's a shame they haven't got all of them in, but they're saying who won each one. Nurgle Lord on horseback. Quite a nice little one there. And then we've got a Slanesh Champion and a Mercenary Wizard. And we've got some Dark Elves there. And you can't beat a bit of Mordheim. That looks like Blackadder, the Road to Mordheim. So a few nice characters there. Then we have some Chaos Marauders. And then on to Warhammer Monster. So doesn't show the gold, unfortunately, but then we've got silver, we've got the Lord of Nurgle there, and then bronze we have the Golden Demon. Now I'm wondering if in the issue of White Dwarf this came out, it's got the other ones. It's been so long ago, I can't remember. I mean, this is 2002, so this is 25 years ago. But so we have a Kroot versus Termagant there. Chaos versus Chaos. That's quite a cool dynamic model. I do like that Blood Bowl one, Saturday on the Terraces. That's quite a cool one with all of those orcs there and humans having a good old fight. Goes on to this side as well. Nice clean model here. This Imperial Fist versus a Demonette. That's a nice one. And then, oh, that's a nice. So that's a Basilisk artillery piece and what looks like Steel Legion. Really nice little diorama, that one. Then we have some Ultramarines disembarking from a Rhino and coming up against some Tau. We've got a Chaos Sorcerer there, and then a Chaos Lord. Oh, some large scale ones. I do have some Inquisitor models. I wouldn't mind getting back into those and painting a few of them. Here we have a Imperial Rogue, and then a young Eisenhorn, and then some Lord of the Rings here. Nice little battle scene there, and then the Black Riders being taken out by the White Horses at the river. Nice little pocket watch there with Bilbo Baggins. And the last one of this one, we have the Emperor's Storm, which is that the same as, yes, so we've got the command squad as the Warhammer Squad Gold at the beginning, and then at the end we have a little task force. I do like that character there with the different head, and we've got some nice Firstborn Marines there now. I do like the way that this has been done, where you've got the little holes cut out for all of the bases. Maybe something I could consider for 11th edition for the box set if I get hold of it. Okay, that's 2002. Let's go on to 2003. So I'll speed it up a little bit as I go through this. So there we have a Imperial Guardsman. That's quite a nice one. That is a old Warhammer zombie head on there, but it's being used as a drinking head there, as it drinks water from the wort flask. A Kroot Shaper, that's a really nice one. And then there we have a little Imperial Guard Commissar. That's actually a conversion based on the Cadian Captain, the old metal one. Didn't used to have the cap, but they've added a cap. Oh, bit of a double page spread here. Here we have a Space Wolves squad. Quite a nice, unique kind of look to these ones. They've got different kind of lower halves to their bodies, so they look quite tall and slim. Quite a nice conversion there. And we've got some Demon Hunters at the bottom, and a little bit of Necromunda there. Goliath gang. That's quite nice. That's the second iteration of the Goliaths, which had the multi-part hands all in metal. I think I've got some of those somewhere. And then here we have a Warhammer 40,000 vehicle, a Space Wolf Rhino there. A nice Dreadnought possessed by Nurgle. And then a nice little Dark Angel Dreadnought there. Then a Sanguinius conversion. It's quite a nice one. And then here we have a Necron Lord and a Hive Tyrant. Beastman Shaman there, I quite like that model, that's quite a nice one. And then another Beastman there. And Luther Huss on horseback there. It's quite. I do like seeing painted miniatures like this, it kind of gets me thinking, and hopefully I'll get a bit of inspiration to do some painting. I haven't done any painting in quite a while, and I'd like to get back into it. So we've got some Knights of Chaos, some Dwarf Longbeards there, a Chaos Lord of Slanesh there, looks like it's on a bit of a beastie cold one lizard, a Nurgle Troll, looks like a conversion from a Stone Troll, quite a nice one that one. And then we've got a Chaos Lord on a dragon. Quite like how that dragon's quite elongated up the base there. That's quite cool. And, oh, there we go. Ah, I like that. A happy looking zombie and a little Warhammer warrior there. It looks like one of the Empire regions. Then we have an Inquisitor versus a mutant orc. And then, oh, that's quite a nice little one at the bottom. A Gutter Runner versus Pistolier. Looks like it's using parts from the Mordheim plastics from back then. Fabius Bile there. Oh, he's all blue in this one. I've always loved that model. I really should get my hands on the newer version. Well, it's got a different conversion. It's got Power Fist in that one. Then we've got Typhus, the old metal version. And then Pestigore Standard down there. Oh, that's a nice one. It's a battle scene, the Siege of Brioen. Probably pronounced that wrong. There we go. So we've got skeletons attacking an Empire fortress or town or something. That's quite cool. I really did like these when they came with White Dwarf, and you could spend a little bit of time looking through them. What I'm doing now, get a bit of inspiration. Here we have, excuse me, there's the dog. Just going to go let the dog out. So here we have what looks like a Sister of Battle fighting a Chaos Space Marine or Inquisitor or something. That's quite cool. And then here we have some Eldar Exodites. I do like that model. I've got that model. I need to paint that up at some point. I need to paint a lot of my models up. I do have a lot of things in my collection. It's quite a nice scene on that strange dinosaur beast. And then an Inquisitor Witchfinder. And then, oh, that's quite a nice Grey Knight conversion in Inquisitor scale. And then Inquisitor Jenna there. And another Lord of the Rings film scene there. Left none alive. So that is the hobbits on the edge of Fangorn. And then there's a bit of Helm's Deep. And here we have a Tau Earthcast sorting out a battle suit in red armour. So that's the, can't remember the Tau. And then we have, well, that's quite a nice conversion of the Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor there, but as an Empire hero. Right, let's carry on. Let's go to 2004. So this one is a little bit thicker, but we'll see if it's just thicker paper or what. But it starts off with this nice Grey Knight's Dreadnought there, but let's carry on. Let's go on into this. So there we have a mounted Ordo Hereticus Inquisitor. We've got a little running Inquisitor down the bottom there. That's quite a cool model. And then an Adeptus Sororitas Battle Sister. It's quite nice. It shows the sculpting of that one. And then Inquisitor and Retinue, that's quite a nice one there. They're more for their bases. Quite nice stylised models there. Then some feral orcs, they're quite cool. Like those. And then some Cadian military police, nice little conversions there, using the Necromunda Enforcer shields and batons from the early 2000s. Well, there's that Grey Knight Dreadnought, it's quite a nice model there. And then, oh, that's quite, I like that Death Guard Dreadnought. And then here we have a Warhound Titan. Let me zoom out a little bit. It's quite a nice model, that one. Then an Imperial Ogrin. That's quite a nice display stand, that one. And a Death Guard Demon Prince, looking all nice and rotten. And then an Orc War Boss at the bottom there. Then a Chaos Marauder. That is the Slayer Sword winner for 2004. And then we have a Bretonnian Mercenary. Oh, I like that one. It's quite a cool model. And then a Chaos Champion of Tzeentch. Nice blue beast man there. Okay, some Empire Greatswords. And then River Troll and Night Goblins. I really quite like the changing colours over the years, when there were some really quite bold colour choices back then, but also I think it's the style of sculpts as well of the old Games Workshop models. There's a slight cartoon-esque feel to them, which I do like. That Dark Elf Blood Bowl team looks like Warhammer 40,000 Dark Eldar, except for that guy at the back, who I recognise from 1st or 2nd edition Blood Bowl. That's cool. We have a Doom Bull. That's quite a nice one. Bretonnian Lord, that's a nice one. Oh, I like this. Nurgle Lord on Demonic Mount. Really big, disgusting fly. That's cool. That's the kind of thing that gets me thinking about conversions. And then, oh, there's an article in the middle of this one. I'm not going to spend time on the article. I'm looking at pictures today. We're trying to find inspiration, aren't we? That's quite a nice little cutaway diorama on the top of a Leman Russ with a Orc Tank Buster chucking a stick bomb in there. There we have a Salamander attacking a Tyrannid. Although, is he a salamander as his face isn't blackened? It's not what we kind of class as a salamander anymore, but back then wasn't really decided upon. Eldar Swooping Hawk and a Necron Wraith. That's quite a nice little setup there. Oh, I like that one. Orc Freebooter. I'm looking forward to 11th edition because I'll finally get around to finishing my orcs. I think I've got quite a few orcs, and I'm looking forward to adding what's in the box set and kind of creating a nice army. We have a Plague Marine, then we have Haldir from Lord of the Rings, Siege of Minas Tirith, nice load of trolls and orcs attacking the humans there. And a Skaven attack there. Last stand at Rissenland. Quite a cool little one there. Close-ups of it. Then River Trolls versus Empire soldiers. That's quite cool. Ah, it's inspired by that artwork. So there we go. Nice double page spread of that one. Oh, that's quite nice. Large scale Space Wolf. Based on the Inquisitor Space Marine. Then we've got Treebeard down at the bottom. Then Sister Repenter. And then the Elf Ranger. Yeah, I'm going to have to find my Elf Ranger and paint that up, I think. I think a few large-scale models, that would be quite nice to do some painting of. A few Lord of the Rings miniatures there. Oh, some classic. There's some epic scale Space Wolves. Oh, I do miss those classic epic scale things. I know that we've got the newer scale ones, but those little tiny guys, they were great. We have a Chaos Lord on a demonic mount there. Skarsnik conversion there. Emissary summoning. Some quite nice old school things here. It's quite nice Inquisitor and retinue there. Another orc with an old school squig. A Warhammer Sorceress. Dark Eldar Talos. Attacking a few Space Marines there. There's, yeah, getting a few ideas, getting the urge to do some painting. Let's carry on looking. There's a Chaos Dreadnought and a Grey Knight there. Epic Carnifex, the old school Carnifex. I really like the old school Carnifex. A Noise Marine, I like that Noise Marine. And Terminator armour. There we've got a Minotaur Lord. A Space Marine Lord, Chaos Space Marine Lord, sorry. I like that Siege Giant, that's a cool model. Nearly at the end of 2004 here, but Eldar Jet Bike, Chaos Sorcerer and a Death Guard. Mordheim Warband. Can't be a good Mordheim Warband. There's another one just over here. And some Eldar there. Right, on the last page, Dreadnoughts, can't beat good Dreadnoughts. There is a Chaos Dreadnought and Nurgle one. Space Wolves, that is beyond the fell hand. And a Ultramarines Dreadnought there. We have some Bretonnians charging. And then a Space Marine squad and another Bretonnian Knight. That is 2004 done. Let's carry on. We've got 2 more years to go. So let's have a look at 2005. Much thinner, this one. They don't have the article in the middle of it. So starting out. Oh, I like that big mutant. That's quite cool. Quite dark though, but can't quite see it on the camera. Might come out better when I edit. An Adeptus Custodes before the models came out. That's quite a cool little conversion. Oh, I like this one. A Nurgle Orc. Let's get that in focus. That's quite cool. I do like that one. That's a good one. Then we've got a selection of Kroot there. Kroot Carnivore Squad. Can't be a good banner. Yeah, they're good. And then we've got Ultramarine Terminator Command. And then some Space Wolf Terminator Command there. The Wolf Priest leading there. It's quite funny, going through the years, you feel the difference to the quality of the paper. There's a Slayer Sword winner, so this is a Dark Angels Land Raider. Quite like the turret on the top of the Land Raider of this one. It's quite a nice way of doing it. A few close-ups. Lots of skulls painted on that one. Proper Warhammer 40,000 Warhammer skulls everywhere. And a nice Wave Serpent conversion. That's quite nice. It'd be nice to see a different shot of that. It looks like it's been slimmed down. Quite cool, that one. Nice tactical stick there that it's sitting on. And then we have a Space Wolves Venerable Dreadnought. Another one of Bjorn the Fell-Handed. Different weapon loadout. Then we've got an Orc War Boss. Little banner pole squig there up the top, pointing things out. The old Tyrannid Lictor, nowhere near the size of the new one. Demon Prince there, looking a little bit disturbing. Le Sheriff, oh I like that, Le Sheriff. It's got a little hobby horse and a dog. Candles on one shoulder, I like that one. A Dark Elf Lord and then a Kislev Lord there. Some Ogre Iron Guts there. Some Chaos Dwarfs down there. And then we've got an Ogre Man-Eater, another Ogre Man-Eater. Oh, I like that Black Orc Warlord there. Oh, like these. Okay, so Gene Stealer Strikes. That's quite a nice little diorama there. Cadia versus Fire Warrior. Skink Chieftain versus Orc Boss. Oh, I quite like that picture frame with, what's that one called? The Lady's Blessing. A bit of fun with reflections in that one. Ambush on the Ivory Road. It's quite a nice little diorama. And then a Waywatcher Attack. That's quite nice.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Well, my name's John,
making the
and
use
you've been
of
watching
Wargames, models,
some nice woodwork
and
in
other
that
hobbies.
one. Gandalf the Grey, Gollum, and Arwen. I do like the classic Night Goblins. Orc War Boss, Valten, and a Imperial Fist Command Rhino there. And then it looks like a scaled up one there. Empire Militia. Nice one, that one. We've got a High Elf Spearman there. And then an Eldar Titan to finish us off. Okay, one more year. We've travelled from 25 years in the past. We're now 20 years ago in 2006. Let's have a look here. So starting off, we have that Inquisitor Lord there. We then have a Space Marine and Imperial Fist. And then just there, I like this one. This Imperial Guard. It's got a really intricate bionic arm there. Looks like it might be being worked on by that servo skull at the same time. That's quite a nice one, that one. Inquisitor Lord and retinue. Big ogre in there with an assault cannon. Looks like a possessed person up at the top. Orc War Boss there. And Death Guard. Some close-up ones of the Death Guard. There's a Fabius Bile conversion there. Leading the squad, it looks like. A Squigoth. Oh, it can't be a good Squigoth. Nice big gun carriage on the top of that. Little Grot tank. That's quite cool. Acadian Sentinel. And then Acadian Command Squad there. The old Forge World one. Oh, I like that Ogre, and that's a nice conversion. Oh, and that. An Orc Outrider. I like that. That's quite cool. That's a nice inspirational piece. So far I'm getting more ideas from 2006, like that Imperial Guard, that Orc Outrider. That Orc Warrior's cool as well. That's a nice one. And the emissary. Oh, I like Legesta. That's a cool one. Then some Bretonnians. Marauders of Chaos. Autumnal Dryads. See, looking at that one, it looks like it's just a bunch of trees, when in fact it is actually just a bunch of trees. Yeah, those dryads look quite cool with all their foliage all over them. They'd look good playing on a table. That's cool. Dark Master there, that's a cool one. You can't beat a good banner pole. Add a banner pole, makes a model. Chaos Warrior there. Nice little ogre at the bottom. Beastman versus Empire. That's quite a nice model there. Aragorn there being dragged along. Look out below. So this is quite a nice little model. So you've got that person from the top of the building chucking out a bucket of water and it landing on that little guardsman at the bottom. Then we've got the Witch of Prague. Some Tau there fighting Tyranids. The Wild Hunt, some Wood Elves there. That's quite cool. And scaled up, there's an Inquisitor, an elf, high elf Swordmaster. There's Marnius Calgar down there. I wonder how big that one actually is. Then some Lord of the Rings. Orc, Kislevite, a high elf. And then finishing off here we've got Grasgull Thraka, the old metal model. Some Death Corp there, they're quite cool. And ending off with a Bretonnian Trebuchet. If you haven't seen it, I made this probably about a year or so ago. I made a old Trebuchet. Fantastic video going wrong, trying to stick it all together. Posted it. It was one of the first videos, I think it was last year. Check out my back catalogue and have a look. It's quite a fun one to watch me getting annoyed as I build it. That's a cool little model there. Yeah, I think this one has some of the ones that I really like, I think. So, yeah, the Orc Outrider, going to have to think about something like that, I think. And that Imperial Guardsman, work in Necromunda, something like that. So, that is 25 to 20 years ago of Golden Demoned gold, silvers and bronzes. I think I might have had a little bit of inspiration from that. I hope you have as well. If there's anything you'd like to see me paint at all, please drop it in the comments. I'm always open to ideas about things that I can start working on. I hope you've enjoyed this video. All I can say now is my name's John and you've been watching Wargames, Models and Other Hobbies.